With a focus on consumer trust, this year's Consumer Goods Forum's annual summit was a hit. Stay tuned to find out what Peter Freedman, Managing Director of the Consumer Goods Forum, had to say.
We're glad to be part of a bigger discussion about food and invite you to ask questions, share ideas, and be part of the conversation at discover.monsanto.com.
This year's Consumer Goods Forum recently met in New York City for their annual summit. The focus was trust as a foundation for growth. And with delegates and speakers from the entire consumer goods world around the world gathered, it proved to be one of the most successful forums they've ever had. I recently caught up with Peter Freedman, Managing Director of the Consumer Goods Forum, to talk about the event and hear from him on what retailers need to focus on, starting with what does he think the world's most influential consumer and retail brands need to address for the coming year?
So if you look on the horizon and you look at kind of where are the worries, you see a lot of issues that affect consumer trust. Whatever the reason, I think the industry and all of the chief executives there are genuinely very concerned. They're concerned to act on this issue of consumer trust. We'll come back, I'm sure, to issues of health and wellness. We have another part of our agenda is sustainability, which is both environmental sustainability and social sustainability. And then we move on to food safety, which I also touched on, which is a third focus area for us. And the last focus area could potentially be part of a solution for all of these things. And that essentially is around issues of transparency and consumer privacy. Consumers are giving my members private data every day, particularly online. They're worried about what happens to that data. And as I said earlier, the issue of traceability affects everything we do. Because if as a consumer, I know where a product's come from, what's in it, and who made it, I'm going to be much more likely to have more trust in it. So each of those four areas affects consumer trust.
And with 49% of the public saying they do not trust businesses to do what's right, the most important question remains. When it comes to day-to-day operations, what can and should food retailers do to instill more trust in their shoppers?
Working with retailers and at the CEO level, you very quickly realize that the very best retailers in the world are very humble people. And they're humble for a reason. They're humble because humility helps you listen to consumers and what consumers need and want. So for me, that's the starting point, a humility and a listening to consumers. And then transparency, telling consumers the truth, being open and honest about what you're doing. Don't expect consumers to trust you because of what you say. Expect consumers to trust you, hopefully, because of what you do.
Be sure to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. And visit supermarketguru.com for more information and more videos just like this.